Hi everybody, finally some silence. I think our mower broke and actually I'm kind of happy because I can't even do any videos while it's going. Anyhow, Joy here from the Suburban Homestead. I wanted to chat with you about a few mistakes I made, which might be able to help you with your fall garden. There's probably a couple more weeks where you could plant a few things. And let me give you the lowdown. So on our first gardens in the spring, we didn't cover them or anything. And as you can see now, we have a hoop house. And I'm going to zoom in. We have this netting, which protects them from... Oh, look, I have some happy ladybugs here. Do you see that? Haha. It protects from birds coming in or rabbits, which we actually don't really have rabbits. But, I mean, you may not have a fenced-in yard. See the fence back there? So if you're just out and you have no perimeter fence, you might need that. We actually have them now on our tomatoes. We lost a lot of tomatoes to birds this spring, so we're not going to make that mistake. Now, you might be asking, why is there netting that goes down into the walkways? And that is because if you do have animals like rabbits or sweet and sassy chickens like us, when you let them free range, where do they go first? They don't go to your regular yard. No, ma'am. No, sir. They go right to your fresh seedlings, and they want to eat every bit of it. Chloe, thanks, babe. And so they like to play in the straw. They like to ruffle up the new seedlings. And worst of all, so frustrating, y'all, is if you don't cover your gardens. Let me get in here. Look how I just lift it up. Typically with two hands, it's not hard to do. And you see the little seedlings starting to grow. Let's see if I can get a better shot. Sorry about that. See them? You see some green there? Worst of all, if you don't protect your garden, when you only have a 2 to 3 week window of getting your seeds started, the chickens or squirrels, thanks babe. Look, she brought me some tea. Oh, it got kind of hot today. The squirrels, chickens, dogs, cats. I don't know how they know that you've planted seeds, but they know. And so what happened was I planted part of the garden. Let me show you over here. And we planted a row of radishes, and it was like a nice long row. And what does Mama have in her garden? 2 lousy seedlings. So we went back. The other predator here, which you may not know, is maybe not even... You probably can't even see it. But there's ants in here. So when we moved our chickens, move their run over to the next garden space, which is not going to be used right now, I guess there was a little bit of their chicken feed left. And so ants have kind of taken up residence. And ants will eat the seeds too. It's so wild. So do you see that kind of gray dust? It's diatomaceous earth, one of our favorite words to say. And it's an organic product made out of little shell-like creatures. And so if you see ants, the first thing to do, and I did wait, was I put diatomaceous earth down once before I planted the seeds. I went back a day or two later, put it down again, and planted the seeds. But clearly that was not enough. Now, on my parsnips and my cucumbers that are over here on the fence line, it did work. And the ants were gone, and so they're fine. So let's recap. If you're going to have a garden, fall or spring or otherwise, you really need to net it, especially if you have beautiful sweet things like tomatoes and figs, because you will lose this fruit. We lost all of our peaches and we lost all of our plums as well out of our orchard. Here's a quickie shot of our orchard over there, way back there behind that little wooden fence. And so you need to net them. Here's our blackberries and blueberries. The second thing is if you have ants or other predators, you need to make sure the bottoms are netted and diatomaceous earth is put out. And I think that will probably... Oh, the other tip is when you have a 2 to 3 week window of when to plant your seeds and seedlings that first week right away. Make the time to get them in the ground, because if you miss some ants like I did, or if you miss some predators, or if your pieces were not fully protective, like over here we have quite a few beets coming up. See the beets in this row, 1, 2, and then there's nothing. A little bit, nothing. That is a clear sign that the chickens got in here because obviously if we have the water and the good environment for some of them to come up, we did see the chickens rummaging around before we added this protective netting. So again, that would work for squirrels and other rabbits and things, even if you don't have backyard chickens. So get things netted. You can buy these things for anywhere from like $100 or up from these fancy magazines. But my husband, who's super duper crafty, although angry at me because he wants me to finish this video, he just went to Home Depot and got 1/2 inch, these are 10-foot 1/2 inch PVC, and then we had some random PVC around, and the netting we got from Tractor Supply. We built this whole thing for like under $10. We built this whole thing for $18. It's about 7 feet high. That includes the netting, the anchors, and the side, and you have little connectors. So if you're a DIYer, which I'm guessing if you're a gardener and you have this kind of setup, you probably DIY a lot of stuff. It'll save you a lot of trouble, money, and time, because you can customize it to the height you need, and you can customize it to the length you need depending on your garden space. Okay, so don't make the same mistakes I made. Happy gardening. Bye from the Stevens Suburban Homestead. Make sure you swipe to the right and follow us. And then you can also look for us on Facebook, Stevens Suburban Homestead. Bye-bye.